By the end of this presentation, you'll learn what recycling means, what you can recycle, how to recycle both at school and at home, why it's important to recycle, and finally, what can be made from recycling goods. Our first question is, what is recycling? The symbol that you see on this slide is the international symbol for recycling. You'll see it on anything that you can recycle. Instead of throwing everything away, recycling means to save that item and reuse it in a different way later on. Now you're probably thinking, what can I recycle? Learning what you can and can't recycle is just like learning your ABCs. Now I'll teach you what you can recycle. First thing you need to know is the A. A stands for aluminum cans. Things like Coke, Pepsi, Diet Coke, anything that's in a can form can be recycled and should be recycled. The B stands for bottles. Plastic bottles to be specific, things like your water bottles, sports bottles, even a pop that comes in a bottle. It's really important that you start recycling those as well. The C is probably what you're most familiar with. Cardboard and paper. Things such as scrap paper, white paper, colored paper, and lined paper are all things that should be recycled all the time. If you look on the bottom of plastic materials, you'll be able to see one of 7 numbers. This is another way that you can tell that you can recycle something. This picture shows one example of those numbers. The next thing we're going to talk about is how do you recycle? We'll talk about both recycling at school and at home. You're at school, it's really important to look for your recycling bin. You're probably recycling things such as water bottles and paper to start off with. In the lunchroom, you should always recycle your styrofoam trays. Many people can make things out of the styrofoam trays that you usually throw away. When you're at school, it's really important to look for your water bottle recycling and your paper recycling. Make yourself familiar so you can start making the school a better place. When you're at home, ask your parents where your recycling bin is. Recycle plastics, papers, just like you would at school. Make sure you take your recycling bin outside. Place it right next to your garbage can. And on garbage day, the recycling bin will come and make sure all those papers and products get recycled properly. Why do we recycle? If we don't recycle, we end up throwing everything away. Then it gets taken to the landfill, which ends up polluting our earth. It's really important that we start to make a difference. Another reason we recycle is to save energy. Did you know just one aluminum can could power up a TV for 3 hours? It's amazing what can be made from recycling just one thing. By recycling plastic bottles, we can reuse them and make carpet, backpacks, sleeping bags, and so many more items. By recycling our paper and cardboard, we can make new paper towel rolls. We can even make new paper to use in our classrooms. Some companies even reuse candy wrappers and make things like backpacks, pencil cases, speakers, and so many more items. Remember, by recycling one thing, you can make a difference in your community and in your school.